What's up everybody, Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming here, and I know it's been a minute since I made a video, but I had to make a video on this one. This released not that long ago. God of War Ragnarok-Valhalla. Now, I didn't expect this at all. I didn't expect this. You know, I heard that there was a trailer. Hell, I didn't even see the trailer until the next day. I was like, oh, it's going to be its first paid expansion or something like that. Then when I saw this was free, I was like, okay. But what is Valhalla? A lot of people say it's just a glorified combat trial. In a way, yes and no. The simplistic way is the wrong way to describe it. This is an epilogue to God of War Ragnarok. An epilogue more so for Kratos, to give him clarity that he wasn't given so far in the Nordic games. More clarity on him forgiving himself for the god he once was in the Greek saga of games. Now, how do you go about that? Well, he and Mimir find themselves in the realm of Valhalla, which is where the worthy dead in the Nordic pantheon is described to go. So in this game, Valhalla is located within Asgard itself. So after the fall of Asgard and the realms are trying to be put back into peace, Kratos receives a mysterious letter and makes his way to Valhalla. What they don't know is who sent the letter, and you don't find out until the course of this epilogue. And it's very story driven. And what it does, it takes inspiration from a lot of other games, especially the Souls series and rogue style games, where you can't go in with all your crazy power. You have to manage yourself, manage your abilities, and go in at a more, how would I say, restrained level. Basically, the game tests you. This whole thing tests how skilled you are. The tagline of Valhalla is master thyself, which means mastering different abilities and different styles of gameplay in order for you to best the challenges ahead. Since the challenges in this mode are very, very challenging, you know. But what this mode does for the fans is incredible. It's so many Easter eggs, so many story-driven points. This entire DLC is riding on the backbone of the Greek era. And how would you say that? Because Kratos has to finally face his demons, you know, both figuratively and mentally. You know, he has to face them in this. He mentions things to these characters, to Mimir, to Tyr, to Freya, things that Kratos has a hard time talking about, such as his wife, Lysandra, such as his daughter, Calliope. And all that culminates in being taken back. Now, the thing about Valhalla is it does follow the same principles as Ragnarok. Basically, increase your power, make yourself stronger through your gear, through your weapons, and through your personal level up. But here, it has been what's the word? Slightly changed. Okay? You have to go in with what is called particular loadouts now. You go in with loadouts. Now, you'll go in with your three weapons, don't get me wrong. Your Leviathan Axe, the Dropnir Spear, and of course, the infamous Blades of Chaos. Now, what you do in this mode is as you go through these different arenas, you will be given different upgrade chests to go towards your power, your rune, your HP, your rage, your strength, anything statistic-wise. But you have to manage what do you want. Because as for your weapons, we all know that in the base game, you can equip multiple skills to the multiple weapon. You know, Blades of Chaos can have 2 or 3 powers on it in the main game, the same with the spear and the same way with the axe, versus here, you're limited to 2 at a time. You're limited to which ones you can use. You can't swap them on the fly like you can in the main campaign. You would have to go in designated and make that ability you have work. There's also different rune slots, different power-ups throughout the course of this mode that helps you progress further. And the arena changes through multiple playthroughs. This mode has great replayability, not only to test you as a player, but to test how many builds you can create with Kratos, how many styles you can give your God of War, so to speak. Now, don't get me wrong, I have died a few times, and the story sections only happen when you do a particular test, like when you complete a particular test or complete something particular in one of the areas, then you'll get what is a story bit of Kratos' past. Now, there is a core story to this. There is a core story, but it's not played in the traditional sense, if that makes any sense. When you go through these realms and you go through these different trial areas, there'll always be doors, and these doors can have different indicators. Basically, maybe you'll unlock a different rune, maybe you'll unlock a different ability for your weapon, maybe you'll fight a random boss from the past, or you will be rewarded what is with a story bit. And those are completely random, and it feels rewarding when you do find it and get it. It just brings out that old God of War fan in you. And playing this through, I'm about, how many runs am I on Valhalla? The reward for Valhalla, though, I'm going to spoil it because you already see it here in the gameplay footage. You are rewarded with playing as classic Kratos. Now, yes, it's a cosmetic, sort of. This cosmetic not only makes you feel like God of War 1 Kratos and shows how good he looks in these modern graphics for the series, they play the original God of War soundtrack. And I don't know fully because I've heard it in instances during the main campaign, because when you play the main campaign, you can take this skin with you. And it all those mods that people used, where they were cool, yes, but they still looked janky. Seeing Santa Monica actually add young Kratos, and he looks fluid when he speaks. He sounds great. He plays great. I mean, yes, it's granted it's the same skills, but something about playing as this Kratos and using the Blades of Chaos makes it feel even more perfect than when it was when we first used the Blades again in the 2018 game. That's what this cosmetic does for you. Now, another thing that is a welcome surprise is they added a whole new ability to Kratos' rage meter. All the ones that you have in the main campaign pale in comparison to the bad boy we get returning, and that is the Blade of Olympus. And this is the best that the Blade of Olympus has ever been. I mean, you kill enemies, it gives you a slight refill in your health. It gives you a slight refill in your rage. It's insane that they went ahead and they added this. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other things in this game that are equally as valuable to the player of the Greek series. There's a whole arena set within a broken Greek temple, and it tells you go to Greece. You see the three judges of the dead again. You go to the desert of lost souls again. You go to the Aegean Sea again, to where you remember fighting the Hydra in the very first game. And when you see how well this functions, you can be like, wow, why don't they just go back and remake at least the first two games? Because you don't really need to remake the third one unless you're going to do a graphical change. But I would say this right here blew me out of the water. And I like the fact that I don't go in with all my wild abilities from the main campaign. It's almost like you're stripped, and it's part of the story of Valhalla, that you're stripped to your barest bones and you rise from the ashes and you build yourself. And there's also different goals, different masteries to also unlock different cosmetics that you could take with you to the main campaign. The only difference is here is that level ups, powers, resources, and abilities are exclusive to this mode since you already have those in the main campaign. So the only thing that crosses over is cosmetic wise. But I would say cosmetically, being able to take Kratos from the past, and it makes that one line in the campaign where you hear Odin say, you know, Kratos, what kind of god were you? And then Kratos is like, if you do not give me back my son, you will meet the god that I once was. And he'll be like, and what kind of god is that, Kratos? It feels good when you wear this skin again. I don't know. It's just like, it makes the whole dynamic of the game feel unique and feel worthy to play through once again. But the more so the thing about this game is depending how often will you put time into it, because it's a separate download and it's a separate mode. It's not you can just go here like in the main campaign where you can go to all the realms or every realm that is open to you by the end of the game. This you have to go to it separately. This is a separate game mode in and of itself. And that's one of the things that I thought was going to be part of the main game at the end, where you're like, oh, we just go to like the Tree of Yggdrasil and we'll go to Valhalla. No. And I spent all day playing this when it dropped. I spent all that day off, and I go to it now, planning to hopefully stream it from its campaign point of view, and it's inspired me to go through the main game once again as classic Kratos. The team at Santa Monica Studios really outdid themselves. They could have charged for this, but no, they didn't. They were like, no, we care about our community. We care about the people that support God of War. So, kudos to them. What do they have in the future? I don't know. My theory is that they are testing how this resonates with both the new fans and the old fans, because a lot of the new fans that came in with the 2018 game and then Ragnarok don't understand a lot of, they just understand, they're like, wow, okay, so this character, he's from another realm, he's from the Greek world, he's this. Then you have a lot of gamers like myself that we know everything about Kratos. We know what this man has gone through, both character-wise, game-wise, game releases. We have followed this man since his inception. And seeing him continue is incredible. Now, I want to make note of one thing. The original creator, David Jaffe or whatever, says that Kratos has become too soft. But I'm sorry, Mr. Jaffe, the variation of Kratos that you want will get stale over the years. You can't just expect to make the same game over and over again with the same angry Kratos over and over again. That means your character will not progress and he will never move forward. In fact, I think under David Jaffe, if he was still under the control of God of War, Kratos would have slowly become faded into obscurity. He would become one of those old licenses that people would be like, oh, well, do we make a game of him? Or no, people really didn't care because he's the same character over and over again. So, sorry, David Jaffe, but your comment about Kratos and the current state of the game, like where it's going, it's very unprofessional, and you should just stick to your corner and try to make video games. Oh, wait, have you even made any video games in a while? So, maybe you don't know entirely where this series can go and the potential this series still has. I mean, clearly fans, both old and new, enjoy where this series is going. We're not just locked to what would have been the Greek realm, which is something David Jaffe would have confined Kratos to, was just only the Greek realm. No, Kratos is a character that can cross all pantheons and can cross all places of the world. Different stories, different potential for our God of War. And yes, he has grown up from the character of rage and destroy and sleep with every broad in a mini game, or sleep with Aphrodite for the god knows how many of time, due to the amount of reruns people play on God of War 3. But here, it's laying Kratos back and making him unique once again. You know, sorry, David Jaffe, but Kratos is a lot better in the position he is now than he would have been under you and where you would have gone forward. So, next time, if you want to make comments about your series that you're not even a part of anymore, handle it more professionally and with more tact, instead of just saying la 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 la. You know, be grateful that the series continues. Don't shit on it. So, there's not much left I have to say about God of War Valhalla. Originally, you can get, about campaign story-wise, you can get 4 hours, maybe 4.5 hours of extra story content. 5, depending how many times you die and on the difficulty, because death constitutes game time. So, but if you go through it, the amount of reruns you put through, you can in fact extend your game time to at least 7 to 10 hours trying to uncover all the secrets, trying to do all the masteries, unlock everything one thing at a time, because you can't just do it all in one go. If you die, that's a key factor. If you die, you lose, very similarly to a Souls game, lose your progress and you go back to the shores of Valhalla and then go through it again to see if you can get better and go through. But with time and patience, anybody can master themselves in Valhalla. And Valhalla itself brings out the best in the skills of the God of War player. So, that's really all I gotta say. Have you enjoyed Valhalla? Have you played it recently? Where do you think you stand with this epilogue? Do you think it gives closure to a lot of Kratos' past damage? Or do you think there should have been more? Do you think there should have been a paid expansion? And what do you think is the future of God of War? Will we be getting the original series remade, or will we be going into a new pantheon, or a combination of the two? So, that's all I gotta say about this review. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you all have a good Christmas and a good New Year's. Look forward to any content I have in the future. We'll go into 2024 strong. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite, Zemper John Kill 3D Game. I'll see you all next time.